Hey everyone, we're going to start with something really easy just to start off this kind of geeking out episode. This should actually be something a lot of you are already familiar with, or maybe you've heard it before, maybe you don't know exactly what it means, but it should be words that are familiar to you. And so I thought that would be the best way to start this out. So today we're going to talk about the 4 English sentence types. These are not meant to be confused with the 4 types of sentence structure, like simple, compound, complex. Like, that's not what we're doing yet. Let's start with something a little bit easier. I'm talking about like the 4 sentence types. That's declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory. So I'm just going to kind of go in order on what I think is easiest to maybe the most challenging, but again, we're going to be easy peasy today because I don't want to scare you away in the first episode. So the first one is declarative. A lot of people have heard this one before. It's really just a statement. You're declaring something, and you should be learning something based on what is being said. 100% of the time, this is going to have a period at the end and no other type of punctuation mark. That's it. Yeah, pretty easy. The next one is interrogative. Again, probably introduced sometime in primary school or elementary school. All the time, it's going to have a question mark at the end of it. It's not going to have anything different. It literally is designed to be a question. It should be asking something. If you're ever unsure, you can always remember the word interrogate. And that word is going to, kind of remind some people of like really intense questioning. And because there are going to be those questions have question marks. Interrogative has a question mark at the end. It's going to be a question. The next one is exclamatory. This one is probably the most often mispronounced. It's not hard, and people know what they mean, but they're going to say it wrong. But exclamatory is going to express surprise in some way. It's going to show intensity in some way. Exclamatory is always, always, always going to have an exclamation mark at the end. And I have to just talk about this briefly because it happens all the time. But I always have students, and there are adults who do this too, and I'll say, okay, what is this punctuation mark called? And they say explanation mark. And I'm like, no, that's wrong. And they're like, what? And so it's exclamatory, exclamation. Like to exclaim, like E-X-C-L-A-I-M. There's no explaining going on. There's no P, but people pronounce it like that all the time. They say explanation point, and I'm like, dude, no, stop doing that. So just keep that in mind. That's more of like just a pet peeve, but it's an exclamation mark or an exclamation point. Please don't say explanation mark. And now my rant is over on that. The last one is imperative. This is going to be like an order or a command given. It is easily confused with declarative because it can also end in a period, but you can also shout something imperative as well, like stop. And that would be still giving a command, making it imperative, but it can also have an exclamation mark at the end. And so then people would be like, oh, it's exclamatory. And it's like, no, it's still telling you to do something. So it's going to be that imperative sentence because it is a command of some kind. It should tell you to do something or give you some kind of direction. Quick geek out moment, in Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling did a lot of research. A lot of her spells are like Latin based. And so there are these 3 unforgivable curses, and one of them is like the killing curse. One of them is like the torture curse. But then that last one, it's called the Imperius Curse. And that one's kind of like mind control. And so the interesting thing about that is that you say the word imperio to cast this spell, but it sounds like the word imperative, with imperative meaning to give a command. It really makes sense that that's kind of like how you would deliver that unforgivable curse in that spell. So I appreciate that J.K. Rowling did her research, especially with like the etymology and origin of a lot of the spells. Bottom line is Harry Potter is amazing and everyone should read it. But yeah, those are all 4 of the English sentence types. I will continue to do some more videos, and don't be afraid to learn. Bye guys.